All right, this is part 8 of Tricked in the Name of Faith. All right. So, this is that Tuesday. I started calling them, um, both numbers that I had access to. Nobody was answering. Um, at this point, somebody from the bank did call me back, and they took my report. I had to go through the entire story. I gave them as much detail as possible, and the bank rep just kind of let me know that, they couldn't say one way or the other how things are going to go, if I'll be able to recoup some of that money at all. But what she did tell me was that it takes about 90 days for a decision to be settled upon, and that the quickest way to get my money back is to try to go through Apple Cash, since that was how I had sent the money to them. So I was like, okay. I didn't think about calling them that previous day when I called the bank. I just immediately tried to call the bank to see if I could put like a stop payment to things, and of course I couldn't because it was Apple Cash, and so that was when they just opened up the dispute. So I hang up with them, and then I call Apple Cash. And the first person I spoke to, now I'm going to say he was very nice. His name was Carranzo, and he was very nice, very helpful. However, the next guy I spoke to, Mr. Meach, he was very judgy, very condescending. He had a nasty attitude. He was just all around negative. And when I say that he was judgy and condescending, like he literally had that tone like, you fool, you know. And my thing is, like, you never know how somebody ends up in a situation. So it's not your place to judge. You're just there to do your job, okay? But that was how he was acting. And so it was like he also kind of was gleeful when he told me, no, you can't get your money back. I was like, okay. And I was just like asking why. And he says, well, because it's been authenticated, it's been sent, and it's been received. And I was like, okay, well, when you say authenticated, in this case, what do you mean? Because I know what authenticates, to authenticate something, but like in this sense of sending money through Apple Pay, like, what do you mean? And basically it just means you authorized it, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay. And so there was nothing I could do as far as that. He said I couldn't get my money back. And like I said, he was just very nasty about things. So I was pretty much wondering, like, what is the whole point of having an opportunity to dispute, like, funds being sent this way, when they're pretty much gonna have to be authorized, because you got to use your face, and it's gonna have to be authenticated, right? Unless, I don't know, it just didn't make sense. But again, he wasn't very helpful, and he refused to get me to somebody else that would help. Like, he was like, I can't transfer you. And I'm thinking, like, yes, you can. Like, just how I got transferred to you, you could easily transfer me to someone. But he was just like, no, you're going to have to hang up and call back again. But anyways, that was a dead end, going through Apple Cash. So right now I'm just kind of praying that the bank will be able to help me recoup some of that money. So by that evening, I sent the text. Because like I told you, they were not responding to my calls. I sent the text to Ryan um, asking for my money back. And of course, I got nothing, right? So Wednesday comes and I call again. Both numbers and still nothing. So my mom and I were talking and she was asking me, had I heard from them, right? Now, this is probably like the afternoon. And I was just like, no, I haven't. And then as soon as I was just like, no, I hadn't heard from them, my phone rings. And it's them. It is them calling me. Which I was really, really surprised that they actually were calling. So I end up merging the call in with my mom. And I immediately tell them the person I'm speaking to is Ryan. Because again, I really highly doubt that is his name. But I tell him that I want my money back. And he's like, what is your name? Were you trying to buy a car? So I'm just like, I tell him my name. And I said, no, I wasn't trying to buy a car. You said I was a winner. I was told I was a winner. You know, at this point, I'm just kind of playing along with the foolery, right? To see what I'm gonna get from them. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, well, what's your name again? So I tell him. He's like, hold on. He puts me on hold for a couple of minutes, and then he comes back, and he's just like, well, your car will be shipped tomorrow. And that would have been that Thursday, because again, this is Wednesday. So he was like, your car will be shipped tomorrow. So I asked for the address to the place. I said, well, what's you all's address? Because I really don't believe that this is legit. And all of a sudden, the phone hangs up. Now, mind you, I told you the complaints I've read about the address, and I've already realized they got two different addresses going on out there. One is a distribution center, and one is, I don't know. And neither of them is a car lot. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the phone ended up hanging up. So I said, why'd you hang up the phone? You know? So then they text me an address. Now this is the same address that they had given my dad. Then they end up calling back and they were just like, oh, the connection was lost. Let me go back to speaking of connection. They said that they didn't answer me that Tuesday. Which, mind you, that whole Tuesday I got ignored. And I also had sent that text that Tuesday saying I wanted my money back. They said they were having connection issues that Tuesday too. So anyway, I got to throw that up in there. So anyway, they end up calling back saying that they had connection issues and that the car was being shipped. And I said, well, what car is being shipped? Again, I'm just kind of playing along because at this point, like I said, I know it's a scam. I know nothing's coming. And they was just like, a white Toyota Sienna 2023. Now, y'all remember when I told you I wanted you to stick a pin in that, attacking that, when they told me that the white one had already been given away. So now, a couple of days later, magically, it has not been given away. It's being shipped to me. Okay. So I said, well, send me pics right now while I'm on the phone. Because now I want to see them take right now pics. Not pictures I've already seen on the website. So They sent like about 7 pictures. One of them was one of the ones that were on the giveaway ad. And so now I'm looking at the background of the pictures because now, I know they be using fake photos. So I tell them, I said, this doesn't look like that building at the address you sent me. And I'm laughing, y'all, but again, you gotta laugh to keep from crying sometimes. Cause this whole situation, like I haven't even told y'all the worst of it. I'll get to that at the end. But anyways, so yeah. So I'm just like, this background doesn't look like the dress you sent me. Oh, this is at our warehouse. Oh, this is where we out at the warehouse where we do the conversions at. This is where we took this picture. So I said, okay. I said, well, send me over the Carfax. So they don't send over like a link to the Carfax, or I'm trying to think what else I'm trying to say, because like when we've been looking, I always ask for the Carfax and it's been more legit. This was just kind of like, let me see, like a picture. Like you couldn't really tell if this was to that car or not, if that makes sense. Let me see if I can show y'all what I'm talking about. Let me see. Like this was it. Like, how do I know that's to that car? You know? Yeah. So again, you just don't know. And so I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I asked for my money. He was just like, no, we can't do that because it's already ready to be shipped. It'll be shipped out tomorrow. Shipping takes less than 24 hours. So you'll have your car by Friday. So I said, okay, well, what's the shipping company? And he gives me, I think, a shipping company called Gateway. Let me see, because at this point I was taking notes and recording phone calls. I'm going to tell y'all that too. Recorded the whole conversation. I like this little new feature on our phones where you can do that. So anyways, yeah, Gateway Logistics is the shipping company, right? So I was like, okay. So Thursday came. Now I'm knowing I was not going to receive a car. Oh, wait a minute. So he said I was going to receive the shipping information first, right? And then I'll tell y'all that in the next part.